Hi, I'm Rachel Zaleski, your host, and this is Jason Zaleski, our sports expert, and you're watching the Zaleski Sports Show, where we bring you hands-on demonstrations, statistics, and visual aids to talk about our sports content covering national, regional, and local sports. So, Jason.
Well, let's get to it.
Yeah, let's get to it. Now,
Wow.
did you, were you as impressed and knocked your socks off to watch the Super Bowl this past Sunday as I was?
So, as we're sitting here on Wednesday, 3 days after the Super Bowl, I really still can't believe what I saw. It is just, it was amazing. It was riveting. It was exciting and unbelievable.
Absolutely. So the New England Patriots beat the Atlanta Falcons 34-28. I have to tell you, to be honest, about right up to like halftime, I was totally thinking the towel was thrown in. I didn't think that the Falcons were at all in jeopardy. And so I don't know what happened in the locker room. Tom Brady must have got re-energized and rejuvenated by Lady Gaga. I don't know. However, he came back and helped to rally his team back for that win. So, Jason, go ahead and tell us a little more about your thoughts.
Or he might have been handed some secret information. We never know sometimes with the Patriots, but as it turns out, they did come back and win. And yeah, wow, Rachel, you said it. What a game. Really, that first half was a complete domination by the Atlanta Falcons. We saw offensive touchdowns. We saw a defensive touchdown, an interception returned for a touchdown. And we really saw the Atlanta Falcons controlling the game. And like I said earlier, it's still amazing to me that I'm sitting here talking about the New England Patriots were the winners at 34-28. A theory of mine, and if you've ever watched football with me, you've heard me talk about this, is football really comes down to 2 plays during the course of the game, especially in the NFL. Every game comes down to 2 plays, and there's actually an NFL TV show that comes on during the football season called Turning Point, and that's exactly their theory too, that those games turn on 2 plays. And in this particular game, in the fourth quarter, I thought those 2 plays happened during the fourth quarter, and they happened back to back. The first was while the Atlanta Falcons, up by 8, were in field goal range. That would have been a long field goal. Still, though, they were in field goal range. And to kick that field goal, add the 3 points to their total, they would have been up by 11 with just a handful of minutes left. The game would have been sealed at that point. But here were the 2 plays, and they happened back to back right after that. There was a sack. Matt Ryan was sacked. That put him in a 2nd and long situation. And then on the next play, there was a holding. And now they're 3rd and very long, and forget about field goal range. Now they were thinking about punting. They punt. New England gets the ball. They go down the field and score. 2-point conversion. So they put the ball in the end zone twice. The score before that was the same scenario where they had to put the ball in the end zone twice. So they had to put the ball in the end zone 4 consecutive times to come back and win. And then, of course, they got the ball in overtime and immediately marched down the field and scored. We saw a lot of things during the Super Bowl. You mentioned Lady Gaga, and maybe you'll talk about her a little bit more. I'll give you some of the ins and outs of the game, or the outcome of the game. As far as records being set, there were 24 new Super Bowl records marked New England Patriots at the end of that game. That is unbelievable. So you talk about an unbelievable game, and then all the records that went along with it. A couple that I noted, former UW Badger, James White, accounted for 3 of those records, and here they are. Most points in the game with 20. So he's in the NFL Super Bowl record books with most points in a game, most receptions in a game with 14. James caught that ball 14 times, and the most touchdowns in a game, 3. So those were 3 of the 24 New England Patriot records set during the Super Bowl. The Atlanta Falcons did set a record as well. Most sacks in a game. Grady Jarrett had 3 sacks. He might have needed a 4th to help his team win. So that's what happened. It was a lot of fun. It's been replaying on all the networks throughout the week, and I'm sure it'll replay for the rest of my life and maybe other people's lifetimes as well.
Wonderful. We had a whole bunch of fun snacks that we mentioned to you last week, and we enjoyed our little Super Bowl game party that we had. And I gotta say, one of the best halftime shows ever was Lady Gaga, watching her fall from the ceiling, or I guess the roof, and it was just so amazing, that whole performance. So. And
then when she was done singing, she just jumped off the stage.
Yeah,
I'm like, see ya, lady.
I know.
Goodbye.
Mic drop. I'm just gonna drop my whole body. So, anyways. moving on to regional sports here, we wanted to make sure that we talk about the Wisconsin Badgers. So the boys are, they just recently beat Indiana 65-60 this last Sunday. It puts them first in the Big Ten, number 7 in their conference, sitting pretty at 20-3 so far.
Yeah.
So tell me what you know about this team.
Well, I know a little bit about it, and we're going to know a lot more about them now that we've got football cleared off our plates, so we can focus a lot on basketball, college basketball, and we can start to focus on hockey as well. But for college basketball in this area, of course, we talk about the University of Wisconsin Badgers. As you mentioned, they did beat Indiana last week at home in Madison. That was the 15th straight time that Indiana came to Madison and went back to Bloomington, Indiana with a loss. So the Badgers certainly have the Hoosiers' number, and that happened again just this past week. Upcoming tomorrow, Thursday the 9th, the Badgers travel to Lincoln, Nebraska to take on the Cornhuskers. That game is at 8 p.m. on the Big Ten Network. And then on Sunday the 12th, as we're looking for a football replacement, well, there you go, folks. You have it. Wisconsin is at home against the Northwestern Wildcats. That game's at 5:30, the time of last week's Super Bowl. So just turn your TV on, just like you did last week, and watch the Badgers. They'll play the Big Ten on the Big Ten Network against Northwestern. Wisconsin has lost, Rachel, just one time since Thanksgiving. One time since we ate turkey. That's quite a run that they're on right now. That means they've won 16 of their last 17, climbed all the way to number 7 in the rankings. The coaches' ranking even has them 5th. So there's a couple different rankings that are out there, and the highest one they have is the coaches' ranking at 5th. And who really leads that team right now is sophomore Ethan Happ. He was last year's Big Ten freshman or Rookie of the Year, and he's still doing work this year. He leads the team in points, rebounds, assists, and steals. He's the only player in the nation to lead his team in all 5 of those categories. He is dominating in the Big Ten, and he's the main reason, as far as I'm concerned, that your Wisconsin Badgers men's basketball team is having a tremendous year and being ranked as high as 5th in that coaches poll right now.
Woohoo! MVP,
yeah.
MVP for him, for sure.
He's having a lot of fun out there. And then going along with men's basketball, something new this year, and it's going to happen on Saturday. So all of us familiar with college football, a number of years ago, the BCS, the Bowl Championship Series, when that was first unveiled, now it's a college football playoff. When the BCS first came out, they decided about 2/3 of the way during the season, they would start to give a preliminary ranking of who would be in those top spots, who was in the lead, as you might say, coming down the stretch looking for a championship. And they would give those rankings out weekly. Well, college basketball saw that, and they saw some pretty good reviews on that, and it brings a little bit of excitement. College basketball now is going to do that starting this year, and that first ranking will be on Saturday. Unlike football, college basketball will just do it this one time. They will rank the top 16 teams, the selection committee, and we'll talk about March Madness and brackets and how all those teams get selected to play in that tournament here in future shows. But for now, what you need to know is the NCAA Selection Committee is going to announce the top 16 teams on Saturday. And that'll give the teams, really, especially those top 16, really a look at where they stand right now, maybe some improvements that they need to make to be ranked higher come selection time. You want to be selected high. You want to have a high seed, a 1 seed. That gives you the easiest path through the tournament. So this will give some of those teams an inside look at where they stand now. Do I have work to do? Do I need to keep status quo or whatever it is? And then teams that didn't make that top 16 that fancy themselves as a tournament team, this will be an alert to them to say, hey guys, you got to step it up if you want to make this tournament because you're not in this top 16. So look for that. That'll be a lot of fun, and we'll talk about that next week.
Wonderful. The other thing is that one thing that I wanted to just mention locally here with college basketball, Jason and I are going to be live broadcasting from the UWEC, so that's University of Wisconsin-Eau Claire, boys basketball game this Saturday, February 11th at 5:30 p.m. or maybe is it 5? One or the other. We'll be there, and we are going to bring that game to you in our own special Zaleski Sports style way. So that will be something fun to look forward to.
I think so, and I think it's no coincidence that one of us at the table right now is a University of Wisconsin-Eau Claire Blue Gold. So.
That's me.
So we look forward to taking a look around campus, getting reunited. Our daughter also goes to school at Eau Claire, so we look forward to attending the game and watching really a good boys basketball game between Eau Claire and La Crosse.
Absolutely. And so Jason, speaking of basketball, because why would we want to talk about anything else right now? Remember how in football you explained the difference between offense and defense? So this week, could you go ahead and explain just briefly about offense and defense in basketball?
All right, yeah, we will absolutely do that. So the critically acclaimed whiteboard is back. Paul, I'm looking at you and others that have a real fun time watching us here with our whiteboard. Okay, so you want to know about the basketball players, offense and defense, and how all that works. Do I have that right?
Absolutely.
Okay, so here's a very elementary drawing of the basketball court, and this will be a very basic concept.
Yes, please.
For those of you that are even smarter than me at home, you'll know that this gets much more complicated than I'm giving you here. This is a basic explanation. So each basketball team will have 5 players on the court at one time. They play offense and defense. So that's what makes one of the things that makes basketball a very exciting sport, is that those players are responsible for offense and they're also responsible for defense. Okay, so offensively, we'll talk about that today. We'll save defense for another show. Of those 5 players, we've got a point guard. And we'll have, that's the ball handler. We'll have 2 shooting guards. Those are our shooters, and those guys are responsible or happen to be skilled at those outside shots. We've got a power forward, and then we've got a center. And that's generally how the basketball court lines up. From there, those teams, they'll run their plays, and they'll do their things all in effort to get to the rim or to get that ball in the hoop and get that score. But that's how it breaks down. Point guard is number 1. Our guards are 2 and 3. Power forward 4, and then the center is 5. The center is usually the tallest person on the team. Of course, they're closest to the rim, so you like somebody to have some height and be able to get up there to the rim.
Now, unlike football, your offense and defensive players are all on the court at the same time.
That's right.
Correct?
So after the offensive possession is done, somebody here has scored or not scored in the defenders. So there'll be a defender, again, generally speaking, near or next to that person they're defending. That ball comes loose or is made. Now they take the ball, they head back down the court. Now all these guys turn into defensive players, guarding those same people. So yeah, you've got to be skilled, you've got to be conditioned, and you've got to be ready for a good game.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. So talking more about basketball, I have like just one huge, amazing word to say about our local boys and girls basketball teams here in Marshfield, and that is phenomenal. Have you guys been watching and paying attention? So to describe it, the Columbus boys are ranked number 1, and they have such an impressive record so far. After their win against Owen Withee last night, 93-87, their record is now 17-0. So it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's great.
Very proud of those boys. So let's go ahead and just take a quick peek of some highlights.
All right, yeah. So last night we saw the Columbus Dons take on Owen Withee, and I know we've got some highlights queued up back there. So as soon as those roll, we're going to tell you guys all about what we saw during the game. It was a really fun game. We've watched Columbus a couple times play this year, and they get up and down the court. They shoot a lot and they make a lot, and that's what we're seeing right there with that 3-pointer. Some of the scores from last night: Jared Mandel scored 6, Charles Pent 6, Ryan Deringer had 12, Peyton Nystrom had a bucket with 2 points, Nick Maliver with 8, Hunter Schultz 22, Ethan Meese had 4, Tyler Furlinger had 30 points, and we see Tyler here get to the rack right there as he does so often. Noah Hansen with 3. So a lot of guys scored for Columbus. You see here, it was one of those games where Columbus did get out to a pretty comfortable lead in the first half, and with their style of getting up and down the court. Like I said, we've seen that a lot. These guys get out to big leads, and then sometimes put it in cruise control. Oftentimes cruising all the way to the end. Tonight, though, after the game, after they put themselves into cruise control, we did see Owen Withee make a little bit of comeback during the game. So as we watch these highlights, another fast break here. We see Hunter Schultz here with the 3. Swoosh. And these guys really know how to move the ball around. Kick it out again for 3. There's
Nothing but net. Wow.
Yeah, and so even though they were on cruise control, the scoring continued. But it did allow Owen Withee to mount a little bit of a comeback. And that's something that I think all teams learn from, and certainly the Dons during their 17-game winning streak. they're learning how to deal with that at the end of the game, and it's all about, you hear coaches talk about this all the time, all about how to close out your opponent and how to finish. And I think the Dons are showing a finish right there with Tyler Furlinger finishing here at the rim, getting his own rebound. And that's how you do it. So at the end here, Owen Withey with a furious scramble to try to make up 6 points here in the closing seconds. We see the buzzer go off right there, and the game is over. Columbus, number one, Marshfield Columbus Dons boys basketball team come away with another win.
Awesome.
Something else that's going on in our area with local sports that we all are proud of. Last night up at Chi High, Emma Fehrenbach for the Marshfield Tigers girls varsity basketball team scored her 1,000th point, and I know, Rachel, you've got some things to say about 1,000 points.
Well, I mean, can you imagine like 1,000 points in your career? That's like amazing. So Tyler Furlinger recently,
earlier this year,
and now Emma. I mean, hats off to you guys both. If I were here and if you were here with me, I would be throwing confetti in the air because that's how impressive that is. Also, honorable mention to special Marshfield Tigers junior Meg Bryan. She has just recently passed 100 three-point shots in her career so far as well. So hats off to her. So good job, guys. You guys are just impressive.
Sniper from the outside, Meg Bryan. Yeah, Coach Michaels is fortunate to have these girls on her team. I know the girls play hard. We've seen them a couple times this year. We look forward to getting out to at least one more game here before they head into the playoffs. One last note for me about basketball. This is our NBA segment. NBA update, the Milwaukee Bucks are still in the NBA. That concludes our NBA segment today.
That's terrible, but that's funny. So I have our schedule for this upcoming week for the local boys and girls basketball here in Marshfield. The Columbus Dons boys will be playing tomorrow, February 10th at 7:15 p.m. at Gilman. Columbus Dons girls play tonight, which is tomorrow night. Oh, did I say? Oh, I'm so off on all my days. I meant Friday,
Boys
February
play Friday.
10th.
Yep.
Girls play Thursday, February 9th at 7:15 p.m. at Loyal. Marshfield Tiger boys play on February 10th at 7:30 p.m. versus Wausau East at home. Marshfield Girls Tigers play Friday, February 10th at 7:30 p.m. at Wausau East. And then they again play on the 11th, Saturday at 5:30 p.m. Back at home against Wausau East again. That's, I think, a makeup game. Then we have Thursday, February 14th, the Boys State Hockey Tournament starts and begins.
Yeah, hockey, man. We got slap shots, wrist shots. We got putting the biscuit in the basket. Let's do it.
That's right. So Marshfield boys are the 7th seed, and they play at home starting the 14th versus Black River Falls.
Yeah, so get out and see that game, guys. Support your local hockey efforts. Those folks have been putting in good work this season, and it's nice they can have a home game, and we can just travel here in town to watch hockey.
And then Thursday, February 16th, the Girls State Hockey Tournament begins. Marshfield girls are 2nd seed, woo woo, and they play on the 17th, starting on the 17th in Wisconsin Rapids against Rhinelander Antigo.
Yeah, so just a short drive down to Wisconsin Rapids. Go cheer on your Tigers girls hockey team.
Absolutely. Be extra loud and say that the Zaleski Sports Show sent you.
Oh, all right. See what that gets you.
Yeah, it might not get you very far. So, Jason, what other events are going on here locally?
Well, you know, I think you had the most of them there.
If you didn't want to watch.
Yeah, okay. So, yeah, get out and be active. Some interactive outdoor things to do this weekend, Saturday the 11th, from 10 to 4. Just make a short drive down Highway 10 West and get out to Blue Mound for the King of the Mound downhill ski race. I think that would be a lot of fun to watch and go and check that out.
Absolutely. So that sounds really exciting. I've been there before to play tubing and sledding, and it's a really great place to go have fun and enjoy yourself. So this is Rachel Zaleski, and this is my hubby Jason Zaleski, and you are watching the Zaleski Sports Show. And we just want to go ahead and let you all know that if you have questions, comments, or suggestions for future shows, please feel free to drop us a line at our email, which is zaleskisportsshow@gmail.com. We'll go ahead and put that on the screen here in a bit. And then thank you so much for watching. Have a fantastic week.
Yeah.
And
Go Sports.